Hello, welcome to Empowering Voices. This is your television program. We are happy that you have invited us into your homes. Again, we have an amazing guest who has a lot of information to give you. My co host and I, Morris Adams. Hi, Morris.
Hello, Erlinda.
It's good to see you.
Thank you.
I hope you had a nice drive in the mountains.
It was wonderful.
Wonderful. So now we got to get to work. Okay.
Yes.
Although this may be fun, we have a special guest, Morris, and his name is Andrew Goldfrach. And I want him, there's a lot of initials behind his name, Morris, and I don't know what they all are. And I want Mr. Goldfrach, Andrew, and I may call you Andrew.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. I want you, first of all, to tell us who you are, what you do, and why do you do it. Please take your time.
Well, good afternoon, Erlinda and Morris. Thank you very much for having me on your program today. As you mentioned, my name is Andrew Goldfrach. I'm a fellow in the American College of Healthcare Executives and board certified in healthcare management. My day job, I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Arrowhead Regional Medical Center and also the Interim Director for the Department of Public Health for San Bernardino County.
Wonderful. That's an amazing position. Many years ago, when County Hospital, as I knew it, was over on Gilbert, I worked there.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, this was 40 years ago. And I worked there 10 years, and it was very interesting. I learned a lot there.
It's a great place.
Yeah.
Absolutely a great place.
Yeah. Morris, I think you have the first question to ask him something. Is that right?
Yes. Andrew, this question reverberates. It has been traveling back and forth around the world, and I literally mean around the world. And we would love for you just to elaborate, just to give us some understanding. And it's just a simple question. Who should get vaccinated?
Great question. The answer is very simple, at least in my perspective. Every single person that is eligible. So right now, 16 years and older, that's what the FDA has approved for Pfizer, 18 for both either the Moderna or the Johnson & Johnson vaccination. There are some indications where it's not appropriate. So if you've been on specific medications as a result of having COVID, right, then there's a 90-day wait period. But after that period, absolutely get vaccinated. I think it's really important. The vaccines are safe. They've been tested. They've been studied. As we're seeing real life with the vaccines, they've been in the market for now just about 6 months. Beginning in December is when we got our first shots, December 16th here in the county. So we're right around that 6-month mark. We're seeing even better results than what the studies were showing. So it's really important, especially as we're seeing variants travel throughout the country, throughout the world. The best way to stop variants is to stop the virus. Best way to stop the virus is through the vaccination.
I see. Is there ever going to be a time where we'll have to go and get a booster after we get our first and second vaccine that you have heard of?
We don't know that yet.
Mhm.
What we're really hearing is we'll probably know a little bit more in the fall, if that's a reality or not. We just don't know that yet. We've got incredibly smart scientists throughout the nation, through the CDC, through the National Institutes of Health, through Pfizer, through Moderna, through Johnson & Johnson, and other manufacturers that are studying this. The FDA, all these great organizations, they're really studying the science and the efficacy of the vaccination. That's what's going to help determine if there needs to be boosters. There might be. We just don't know that yet.
We don't know that just yet. Right.
You mentioned something that some people have received COVID or they've endured COVID, and there was a statement or that you made about the vaccination. Just to clarify that, I want to ask you a question. Should you still get vaccinated if you have already had COVID?
So the answer is yes, you should. What we're seeing is right now that if you've had you do see antibodies built up in your body for about 90 days or so, and then it starts to dissipate a little bit. So it's really important to get the vaccine to really get those antibodies more long term than just relying on COVID and letting that run its course. Where I was kind of referring to is there are certain medications that you will get in the hospital if you've had COVID, remdesivir as an example, right? Where the vaccines do have indications where it says do not take the vaccine if you've taken remdesivir for until 90-day mark. And then after that 90-day mark, you're good to go take it.
Wow.
Okay.
That really clarifies a lot, doesn't it, Erlinda?
Yes, it does. It does. If you have certain diseases, certain illnesses, then it's important to share that with your physician to see if they.
Absolutely. If you have a question within your own health, if you've got either comorbid conditions, if you have other diseases, and you have any questions, talk to your doctor. Let them help guide you through those decisions. They know your health a whole lot better, and they're great trusted communicators. They're great trusted partners in your health. So rely on your primary care physicians where you can to help guide those decisions. If you have any doubt or concerns based off of your medical condition, and if you should or should not take the vaccine.
Right. Good point. Good point. A lot of folks are scared of the vaccine.
Mhm.
I heard one bad thing in the news. I don't want to take it. I'm glad I didn't take it. But I try to emphasize to people that it's one in thousands. And I'd rather be, very much alive and well taking the vaccine. I'm not going to chance it. And I did take my vaccines. So people are just scared.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely. It's new. It was quote unquote rushed, but it really wasn't rushed. So scientists have been studying the coronavirus and potential vaccines for almost 50 years.
wow.
It's just this strain and this push, which was as the need for COVID-19, which was really what helped drive it. And so when you look at you break down the mechanics of how the vaccine got approved back in December originally, and yes, it was a shorter time period, but really the biggest difference that we've been able to ascertain in terms of how these vaccines were approved under emergency use authorization against other vaccines is the funding source. So the federal government proactively upfront paid for the research, paid for the doses, which helped kind of springboard the research and the studies. But the science behind it didn't change. The science behind this versus any other vaccine that comes to market really didn't change. And the FDA and the independent CDC Advisory Council on Immunization Practices, they're an independent body. It's not political. They follow the science and they made their recommendation. So we like to try to follow the science to help guide the direction and the practice.
Wow. So this has been it has been researched for many, many years. You say 50 plus years.
Absolutely, to one degree or another. So the coronavirus in and of itself has been researched for a very long time.
Yeah.
And when you look, because yes, there is that concern, there is that hesitancy. I get it. That's real, right? But one of the things that we really want to continue to emphasize is the success rates with our vaccines.
Right.
So during the study, we were sitting, I think they proved it right around 95% effective, right? that in and of itself is astronomical.
Mhm.
The average flu is around 50 to 60%.
Right.
And we take that every year, right? 95%. Now, when we see it in real life, we're getting closer to 96%, 97%. When you see what happens with people who do end up having coronavirus or COVID-19 after getting their vaccine, you're seeing almost zero hospitalizations and zero deaths as a result of it.
Mhm.
So I'd rather get a little sick and be home for a few days than be in the ICU and potentially risk my life.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I want to live. So I
Absolutely. Absolutely.
definitely was one of the first ones as soon as I qualified. Yes. Yes. Did you take yours, Morris?
I certainly did.
Right. Yeah, I encourage my partners, colleagues. Of course, they've all had it, but I encourage them to inspire others. You know, a lot of our Hispanic population are afraid. You know, so I talk to them in my language in Spanish, and I teach them and I tell them, you know, it's very important. It's very important that you do this for yourself so that you can live and take care of your family.
Absolutely. It's a great message. I mean, we spent the last year in isolation, in quarantine, right?
Oh,
And that's tough. Mental health, major issues, right? That's really tough. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard, which is just so wonderful to hear when we hear, families saying, I got my vaccine and now I was able to hug my parents,
yeah,
hug my grandparents, hug my family,
yeah.
eat at the same table,
Mhm.
right? In over a year. That's, let's try. I don't know if we're ever going to get back to true pre-COVID, right? But let's get back to some resemblance of normalcy. And
Yeah,
the
that was
best
one
way
of
to
our
do
questions.
that is the vaccine.
Yeah, that was one
Yeah.
of our questions was, are we ever going to get back to a so-called normal, you know?
Well, I think yes, but, and there's always a little yes, but. I think
Yeah.
yes, but it's going to be a little bit different. I think we're gonna have to understand that COVID is here. It's
Mhm.
probably never going to go away,
Mhm.
but there are ways for us to mitigate it. There are ways for us to manage it. There are ways for us to control it where it just becomes part of life
Part of life.
and we move on and we live our life. We engage with our family. We engage with our friends. We go to ballparks. We go to movies. We go to restaurants. We go to parks. We live life
Mhm.
with a better understanding of what coronavirus is.
Yeah, and how to be safer. Now, I know the hand washing increased, you know, the mask. People are going places now without a mask. What do you say about that?
Well, so it's interesting. So the CDC and CDPH recently came out with updated guidance around masks. And if you are vaccinated and you're outdoors, it's okay not necessarily to wear a mask unless you're in a congregate or large setting, right? Where you're kind of next to each other and socially distancing is hard to do, right? Still absolutely wear a mask. But I will tell you, if even though that's the guidelines, if you're more comfortable wearing a mask, wear a mask, right? It is safe. The mask goes both ways. It helps one protect you from others and others from you. So it is a comfortability thing, right? So I would say if you feel more comfortable wearing it, absolutely wear it. Indoor guidance, still need to wear a mask. But if you're in an outdoor setting, CDC and CDPH have recently come out with some updated guidance that's on, and the kind of the details of that are on their websites. So I encourage people to take a look at all the what you can and can't do and all that.
Right.
This is one of the things that it's happening more and more and more. And that is information from the medical society has been coming into our rooms, coming into our living rooms, coming into our houses. And listening to everything you said tonight makes me feel so comfortable.
Yes.
I mean, you said about 5 to 10 things that just gave me great comfort. Now, don't want to get mushy, but those are the types of things you want to hug. Now, so I
Yeah.
have a question here. I have a question. How do we get the medical society to come into the households and become part of the family? Because right now, you are so needed
Mhm.
in every home. In every home, the information that you just shared with us is so needed so that the fear goes away, the comfort comes back. And that's going to be a large part of our normalcy once we have greater understanding of what we're facing. How do you come into our rooms and your information? Please elaborate or tell us, please.
Well, Morris, I think it's events just like this one that we're talking with or through today, right? It's these conversations. It's where there's ever an opportunity, whether it be at Zoom events or at church events or community events or even these Zooms, right? With
Mhm.
um, with different cities and organizations. Anytime we have that opportunity to have that conversation, we need to really embrace that conversation, embrace that opportunity to have these conversations, because it's going to be these conversations that help become a household conversation.
Yes. I find
Yes.
that to be so. Even young kids, teenagers, uh, elementary school. I hear my 16-year-old granddaughter say, "Oh, Grandma, I heard this. Oh, Grandma," and it's really good information that she learned by just watching and listening. And kids are looking to see what's going on anymore. They really
Absolutely,
want to know.
absolutely.
They
We're
really,
we're in that world and that digital age where so much information is out there if you want to get it or if you have the ability to get it, right? But sometimes it's easier just to have the conversation versus the research and do it all yourself. So I love these conversations. I'm so thankful for you to invite me on your show today because it is an important message. We would absolutely recognize that people are scared.
yeah.
It's new, right? It's a very different way,
Mhm.
different vaccine than we've ever had, right? It's very, COVID's been all consuming for the past year. So it's scary.
Yeah.
This is that ticket to help us see that light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, yes. And like you said, um, so that we can, in spite of living a new norm, so that we can live.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right, Morris? Anything
That
you want
is,
to share or ask before we've almost come to an end? And I'm going to ask Andrew to say a few words in closing. But I want to ask you, Morris, is there something that you need to say?
I think that Mr. Andrews has pretty much said it all. And if there's any one thing that really, reverberates in my heart is, will he come back? Will you come back? And will we do this again? Because it's so important that the people hear from you. I mean, I could try to say the things that you said, but when they hear it from you, it just gives a rest inside. So
Right.
if, yeah,
When they
I,
hear from the
yeah,
professional,
I would be happy to.
yes.
Happy to come back. Happy to talk with you guys. Erlinda, just as you mentioned, there are a couple of announcements I do want to put out. We do have a great event coming up on May 27th at the Greater Faith Grace Bible Church, which is at 249 East Randall in Rialto.
Yeah.
It's going to be a Pfizer event, so 16 and older, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So we're really excited about that vaccine event in the city of Rialto. And we also have a lot of other events as well. But really thrilled about that event and that partnership with the Greater Faith Grace Bible Church. And then if for some reason people can't make that event, I encourage people to go onto our website, which is sbcovid19.com. And there's a link in there for vaccines, and you can see where you could get a vaccine throughout the entire county. All of our county sites, we've got about 17 or so county run sites, in addition to 245 providers.
Wow.
that are private. All of our county sites are walk-in. You don't even need to make an appointment.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow, Andrew, you guys really got it going on.
So we want to make sure that vaccines are easy, are accessible, are right around the corner from you. So we love these events and partnerships with our church-based organizations, like the one in Rialto, as well as our normal operations and county sites. So if you haven't gotten a vaccine, there's no time like the present.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much. You are amazing. No wonder the county's doing so well. We have people like yourself.
Well, I appreciate it, but it takes a team.
It takes
We've
a
got,
team, of
we've
course,
got dedicated people who are incredibly passionate about this.
but it takes a great leader too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Morris, thank you so much. It's nice working with you today.
oh, thank you so much. And thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Andrew. Thank you.
Mr. Andrews or Andrew, thank you so much. You are an amazing individual who cares about us, the people.
Well, thank you very much. I
Please
appreciate
continue doing that wonderful work that you're doing. And our regards to David, Trish, Josh, everyone else that's working around you and with you.
it. Absolutely will do.
Thank you. And thank you so much. And Morris, until next time, I'm Erlinda, and this is Morris Adams, who is your co-host. And this has been Empowering Voices, a television program that allows you, gives you information to know what's going on, particularly right now during this COVID-19 pandemic. There are answers, and wonderful people like Andrew are here to give you that information. All right, until next time, I'm Erlinda. Goodbye, Morris.
Goodbye,
Goodbye.
Linda.
Thank you, Andrew. Bye-bye.
Thank you.